A 92-year-old woman in Japan can sit down on the floor, fold forward, move her spine, and get back up with more control than many people in their early 60s. No drama, no expensive program, no complicated equipment. Just a body that has been taught day after day not to shut down. Now compare that to what I see all the time here in the West. Men and women in their 60s who wince when they roll out of bed. People who need to brace themselves just to put on socks. People who think waking up stiff, tight, and half frozen is just the price of getting older. I don't buy that. I respect the aging process. I do not accept the idea that pain, stiffness, and loss of movement should automatically come with it. I spent 20 years as a Navy SEAL. I used to think the answer to almost every physical problem was to push harder, train harder, tough it out, ignore the warning signs. That mindset works for a while, until it doesn't. At 48, I had my own wake-up call. Blood pressure going the wrong direction, stress markers climbing, recovery dropping. My body wasn't asking for more punishment. It was asking for better input. That lesson changed the way I think about movement. And one of the most useful things I started studying was how long-lived older adults move in cultures where mobility tends to last longer. Not how they work out for vanity, how they take care of the body in real life, quietly, consistently, without turning every health habit into a competition. What stood out to me about older Japanese adults is how often they use simple bedtime movements to help the body unwind, decompress, and prepare for recovery. That is smart, because nighttime is when the body does a tremendous amount of repair. If you go to bed tight, compressed, and locked up, you make that repair process harder. If you go to bed with the body open, calm, and better aligned, you give yourself a much better chance of waking up loose, steady, and functional. So today I want to walk you through 5 simple bedtime movements inspired by that philosophy. These are not flashy. They are not trendy. They are not built to impress anybody. They are built to help you move better tomorrow morning than you do today. And let me tell you right now, the one at the end looks so easy that most people dismiss it. That would be a mistake. Let's start with the first movement, the seated forward fold. Now, before you hear that and think this is some kind of aggressive stretch session, slow down. This is not about yanking on your hamstrings or forcing your head to your knees. This is about teaching the body to soften. Sit on the floor or on a firm bed with your legs extended in front of you. If the floor feels too harsh, sit on a folded blanket or cushion so your hips are slightly elevated. That alone can make a big difference. Sit tall first. Think about lengthening through the crown of the head. Then place your hands on your thighs, shins, or wherever they comfortably reach, and slowly begin to lean forward from the hips. No bouncing, no straining, no ego. Just a gradual fold with steady breathing. This movement is powerful because it targets areas that get unbelievably tight as we age, especially if we spend much of the day sitting in chairs. Hamstrings tighten. The lower back gets protective. The hips lose freedom. Then everything downstream gets affected. Walking changes. Standing changes. Even the way you bend to pick up something from the floor becomes more awkward and more dangerous. What I like about doing this before bed is that the body is already beginning to downshift. Your temperature drops a bit. Your nervous system is more ready to let go. That makes gentle stretching more effective than trying to force it in the middle of a busy day when you're rushed and tense. Here's the key. Breathe into your belly. With every exhale, allow the body to soften just a little more. Not because you're forcing range, but because you're removing resistance. That is a very different approach. If all you can reach today is your knees, that's fine. If you reach your shins, great. If you get to the ankles someday, wonderful. The point is not where your hands land. The point is whether your body learns to trust the position. The body does not release when it feels threatened. It releases when it feels safe. Hold this for about 2 to 3 minutes or take 10 to 15 slow breaths if that feels easier to track. You may be surprised how much lighter your low back feels when you stand up afterward. The second movement is the lying spinal twist. This one is one of my favorites because it doesn't look like much, but it does a lot. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet on the floor. Extend your arms out to the sides in a relaxed T position. Then gently let both knees fall to one side while keeping your shoulders as heavy as possible against the bed or floor. Hold there, breathe, then switch sides. That's it. What this does is help decompress a spine that has been loaded by gravity all day. Think about what most adults do from morning to night. Sit, stand, drive, hunch, reach forward, brace. By bedtime, the spine has been compressed for hours. This twist gives it a chance to unwind. It also restores rotational movement through the torso, which is something many older adults lose without realizing it. Then one day they turn to look behind them while backing up a car, or reach across the body for something, and everything feels stiff, clunky, and unstable. That loss of rotation doesn't just affect comfort, it affects safety. When you do this twist slowly and breathe into the side of the rib cage that feels stretched, you get more than a spine movement. You create space in the ribs, chest, and mid-back. That can improve posture, breathing, and overall ease of movement. A nice modification is to place a pillow or folded blanket between the knees if your back feels sensitive. Another one is to place a pillow under the knees if they don't comfortably reach the floor. Remember, this is not a test. This is maintenance. Hold each side for about 60 to 90 seconds. Your body may want to rush out of it. Stay calm. Breathe. A lot of the benefit shows up after the first 30 seconds, when the body stops guarding and starts letting go. The third movement is cat-cow on hands and knees. Now, I know some people over 60 hear hands and knees and immediately think, not happening. But stay with me, because this movement is incredibly adaptable, and the payoff is worth it. Come onto all fours on a bed, yoga mat, or carpet, with padding under the knees if you need it. Your hands go under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. From there, as you inhale, let the belly soften toward the floor and gently lift the chest and tailbone. As you exhale, round the spine toward the ceiling and draw the belly inward. Then keep going, slowly, smoothly, like a wave moving through the spine. What I love about this movement is that it teaches the spine to move segment by segment again, instead of acting like one rigid board. Too many adults move as one stiff block. That's a problem. A healthy spine needs to flex, extend, and respond. When it stops doing that, stiffness increases, breathing becomes more shallow, and even balance can start to suffer. This movement also has a calming rhythm to it. When breath and motion sync up, the whole body tends to settle. That's one reason it works so well before sleep. You're not just moving joints. You're telling the nervous system that it's safe to turn down the alarm. If your wrists are tender, place a folded towel under your palms, or come down onto your forearms instead. If kneeling on the floor isn't comfortable, you can even do a version standing with your hands on a countertop and your knees slightly bent. Same idea. Same spine wave, just more accessible. Do this for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes. No rushing, no snapping through it. Think fluid, think controlled. Think like you're lubricating the spine from the inside. And if you hear a few soft pops or clicks, that's usually just pressure equalizing in the joints. As long as there is no pain, that is not something I want you worrying about. The fourth movement is ankle circles followed by hip circles. This pair is more important than most people realize. Let's start with the ankles. Sit on the edge of your bed or in a chair and extend one leg out in front of you. Slowly circle the ankle 10 times in one direction, then 10 times in the other. Switch legs and repeat. Simple, right? Here's the problem. Most people lose ankle mobility year after year and never think about it. Then their walking changes. Their balance changes. Their knees start taking on stress they were never meant to handle. They feel clumsy on stairs or uncertain on uneven ground, and they blame age, when part of the issue is that the ankles have simply stopped moving well. Healthy ankles matter. They are shock absorbers. They are stabilizers. They are information centers for balance. When they stiffen up, the rest of the chain pays for it. After the ankle circles, lie on your back and bring one knee toward your chest. Place your hands behind the thigh or over the knee and begin making slow circles with that hip. 5 in one direction, 5 in the other. Then switch sides. Walking moves the hip mostly forward and backward. But the hip is a ball and socket joint. It is built for more than one plane of motion. These circles restore some of that lost variety. They help the joint stay nourished, reduce that rusty feeling in the hips, and make everyday movements easier. Getting in and out of a car, turning while walking, reaching down to tie a shoe, changing direction without feeling like your whole body has to negotiate the turn. Small circles are fine at first. You do not need to draw giant circles in the air. In fact, I prefer smaller, smoother circles that stay pain-free. This is another place where aging adults get into trouble because they confuse aggressive with effective. You do not need aggressive here. You need consistent. Do this pair right before bed and you're helping the lower body go into the night with better joint motion, better alignment, and less unnecessary tension. And now we get to the final movement. Legs up the wall. This is the one most people underestimate because it looks like you're barely doing anything. But I want you to respect this movement. It is one of the best resets you can give an older body at the end of the day. Lie on your back near a wall and place your legs up against it. Your hips do not need to be jammed right against the wall. In fact, a little distance is usually better. 6 inches or so works well for many people. Let the legs rest there with a slight bend in the knees if needed. Arms relaxed, jaw relaxed, breathing slow. Then stay there for 3 to 5 minutes. That position helps drain some of the fluid that pools in the legs during the day. It gives the lower back a break. It lightly decompresses the spine. It can reduce that heavy, swollen feeling some people get in the calves and feet at night. And maybe most importantly, it calms the system. A lot of older adults don't just go to bed physically tight. They go to bed wired. Their body is tired, but their system is still humming. This position can help shift that state. Once the breathing slows and the body settles, sleep often comes easier. For those who wake up stiff in the morning, this movement can be surprisingly useful. Sometimes the issue is not just age. It's that the body never really came out of compression or inflammation from the day before. Legs up the wall gives it a chance to reset. If your hamstrings pull too much, move a little farther away from the wall. If getting to the floor is difficult, you can do a modified version on a bed by placing your legs on pillows or against a headboard. Same general principle. Elevation, relaxation, reduced load. And again, this is not about perfection. It is about putting the body in a better state before sleep. Now let me tie all 5 together for you. Seated forward fold. Lying spinal twist. Cat-cow. Ankle and hip circles. Legs up the wall. That whole sequence can take about 12 to 15 minutes. That's it. 12 to 15 minutes to give your joints, spine, hips, ankles, breath, and nervous system a better chance to recover overnight. And I want to make something very clear. These movements are not magic because they are exotic. They are effective because they are simple enough to repeat. That is what people get wrong about health after 60. They keep searching for a dramatic answer when the real answer is usually consistency with the basics. No one wakes up at 92 suddenly moving well by accident. That ability was built quietly. One evening at a time. One gentle routine at a time. One decision at a time not to abandon the body. If you have knee replacements, back pain, balance issues, or other medical conditions, use support and modify as needed. Talk to your physician or physical therapist if something is unclear. There is no shame in adapting a movement. The smart person adapts. The stubborn person gets hurt. Pain is not proof that something is working. At this stage of life, your goal is not to dominate your body. Your goal is to work with it, to restore trust, to improve mobility without fear, to make tomorrow morning easier than this morning was. That is a worthy goal. So tonight, don't overcomplicate this. Pick 3 of these movements and do them before bed. Or do all 5 if you have the time. Keep it calm, keep it controlled, keep it repeatable. Then notice what happens when you wake up. Notice whether standing feels easier, whether your back loosens faster, whether turning feels smoother, Whether your first steps feel less stiff, those small changes matter. In fact, they matter more than most people realize, because they shape your confidence. And confidence shapes movement. Movement shapes independence. That is the real prize. Not looking younger, living stronger. You do not need a gym to protect your mobility. You do not need a punishing routine. You need a few intelligent movements done regularly, with patience. That is how the body changes after 60. Quietly, gradually, powerfully. So give your body the signal tonight. Slow down. Move with intention. Let the spine unwind. Let the hips and ankles loosen. Let the legs drain. Let the nervous system settle. And remember this, aging does not have to mean shrinking into stiffness. It can mean getting wiser about what your body actually needs. Start tonight, stay consistent, and let tomorrow morning show you what simple things can still do.